All right, I think I'm going to call this video Unhinged Reality. And the reason I'm calling it that, so a little thing I started doing after I had this experience with the Mandela effect and reality around me, is I started to notice that reality itself seemed to have a bit of a consciousness or something, like an intelligence behind it, and sometimes a trolling intelligence, but nevertheless, there was an intelligence there. And maybe it's just me, but I was connecting dots between coincidences and symbolism. And I was having this sense that what's happening out here around me is a reflection, a mirrored reflection of things happening within me. And of course, thoughts of solipsism and am I creating this reality? Am I somehow unconsciously creating these things around me? All those questions go through your mind when you go through reality changing hard right in front of you. It does cause you to question all of the bizarre that you see around you. Um, Not long ago, I saw a trash can at my work change completely from its shape and style. Well, shape mostly. It was a corner trash can. The next day, all of them, not just one, all of them were changed to an oval style. And that brand and that shape does not exist in this reality anywhere. I've looked far and wide. I know that I saw it. It was there one day. I was thinking this is a good idea to buy for other locations, and it gone poof. Why? I don't know. It's almost as if reality is playing with me in some ways, and so I look for coincidences, and I look for changes, and I look for messages that might or might not be there. And sometimes I could be reading into them incorrectly. I understand that, and I understand how anybody would consider me to be completely crazy, absolutely insane. I know that. I know everything that I'm saying should get me locked up. Throw the straitjacket on now. Anybody who wants to have me committed, just watch this channel. You got all the evidence you need. So yesterday, I oversee several buildings in the state, and I watch all of the tickets or the request for repair or whatever it might be. I see them stream in like a ticker tape parade. It streams in all day long, and I put in comments, I respond, I assign work to get done by others, sometimes myself, but this is my life. In the 8 months that I've been at this particular position and place, which is a good job pay-wise, I'll admit this beats the heck out of where I was a year ago. But I've never seen one request in 8 months for this particular thing, which was there's lockers, personal lockers that employees get at all these buildings, and you put in your combination, you set the combination, you can put your purse or whatever you want. It's just big enough for like small items. It's a little tiny locker, little cubby, and it's got this door with this lock. And I got a ticket saying that the screws were coming out of the hinges, the door's coming off. It is becoming unhinged. And, I thought nothing of that. No big message. I'm not reading in any message there, but in 8 months of being here, I've seen a lot of requests, and that's the first one that I've gotten like that. Okay, what's the big deal? Why am I even bringing this up? Because in another building, in a different town, built at a different time, different lockers, different types of locks, completely different people, unbeknownst to each other in any way, shape, or fashion. They have no connection whatsoever. Within 10 minutes, I got another ticket for the exact same thing in another building. There's no connection between these people, these buildings, nothing. But because of my position and ability to oversee all of the facilities that are in the state, I am able to see that this request popped up immediately. I mean, just like right after. What are the odds now? And then, of course, if you're a naturalist, an evolutionist, you'd say, well, you give anything enough time and any coincidence is bound to happen, right? Ever since the Mandela effect and seeing reality change around me, I don't believe that anymore. I believe reality does these things as a wink, a nod, a message, a trolling, whatever. And I say trolling because of the fennel thing that happened to me. That was definitely a practical joke on me. The reason I chose this face is because at the very end of the day, somebody at another location drew a smiley face on a painted wall. And when somebody tried to clean it, it just smudged it, making the theme of a creepy smiley face to go with that's why this thumb was brought to you by this crazy reality we live in based on the coincidences of the day. So if anybody's curious what the message might be, unhinged, if someone's unhinged, they aren't completely sane. Unhinged is another way to say crazy or out to lunch. Uh, while this might be reality's way of telling me that I am unhinged, I reflect back and look at reality itself and say, you know, reality, I think you're the one who is unhinged. When I look at the events of this world, I say unhinged. When I see the logic that is thrown at me from people around me about why we must do things, I say unhinged. This is a very unhinged reality, in my humble opinion. But I'm sure reality is saying that to me as well. I wish that I had more time to sit in front of a computer and do these videos. I have some that I've been holding back because there's like things that I need to do while I'm interacting and reading the screen and playing a video, a sound. I've got a bunch of these that just have like sitting in the file to do someday, but I can't get to them because I just never have time. And I need to find a moment where I'm completely alone, and it's got to be, you know, right off the phone. So unfortunately, if I wait until conditions are perfect to do a video that I want to do, I never do it. But if I just wait for something to become unhinged in my reality and for me to talk about it, I do more videos. Here's another one happened a couple days ago in that system. Since we're talking about tickets, this is a report that I get on tickets, and it's color coded so that the tickets are the tickets themselves are coded in such a way that if they're getting overdue, they start changing color in the cells. And this is like a report that's received twice a day, showing me, this one's getting dangerous. You better, you know, better make some comments here. Better, where are we going? Change that due date. You know, it's reality is always, this reality loves task and due dates and expectations of accountability. That's what reality loves. The funny thing is that task list report, when I came in first thing in the morning, opened the emails, I'm looking at the report. It's an Excel document. The report had a bunch of red. Now, I know you're not going to believe me. I barely believe it myself. I took the screen picture because I needed to show what had happened. I'm looking at a bunch of red tickets saying they're about to change. Now, I know that this is not possible in a normal reality. I'm just looking at a fixed Excel sheet that is open at the time. There's no live interface with this file. It's not a shared file. It's not like multiple people are in it at the same time, and live editing does not happen. This is a fixed attachment in an email that I opened up does not have any live editing ability. Okay, this has never happened. I'm looking at the red cells and they changed to what I showed you, the green and yeah. I don't get how that happens, but that's the second time I've had something like that happen since the Mandela effect. Reality just changed. And why? I mean, as I'm there in the program, looking at these red cells saying, oh, I better act on him. I act on these. The file that is unchangeable changes, showing me that reality, once again, is very fluid. This is how things can happen, like buildings can move, things can disappear, just one of those things type of experiences. And it's okay. For me, reality is giving me all of these things. It is a reflection of maybe my inside, maybe it's messages, maybe it's practical jokes, whatever it is an unhinged reality. It is a crazy reality. And any normal person, and I say normal meaning you are still in this reality and very caught up in it, you would say, I am absolutely crazy. But I am happy, very happy, to not be hinged to reality anymore. I am very happy to get unhinged from this reality. For my my ability to see it changing gives me nothing but joy. Shane was he's with Unbiased and on the fence. He on that channel, Unbiased and on the Fence. I need to give you a link so you can know who I'm talking about. Shane's talking to me on the phone for about an hour the other day. And he is, by the way, coming down to Texas, he said, for the eclipse. And okay, I'm getting off the topic here for just a second, but he's coming down, and I told him I can't really participate, but I might be able to, stop for a long lunch and say hi. So if you are coming down, I can't organize the event, but if you are coming to DFW area for the eclipse, shoot an email to scarebperformance@gmail.com, and he will, get everybody rounded up and say we're going to have lunch here, or meet here, or whatever plans he's up to. Shoot an email to scarebperformance@gmail.com, and that person will coordinate. I got his permission yesterday to put that out there. He will coordinate any type of meetup. But back to Shane. He's talking to me, and he said, because apparently I said something in our conversation, he said, oh, so you think the Mandela effect is a good thing? And I've seen this in comments before. I read all the comments. I don't always reply, just time doesn't permit once the day gets started. But yeah, I'm smiling. I think the Mandela effect is a good thing. Or maybe so I should put this another way. I think my ability to see what reality is up to and what it's doing, even though anybody in the world would call me absolutely crazy, I am happy that I can see it. So in that sense, yeah, the Mandela effect's always been a good thing for me. I love that I can see what's happening. I heard somebody the other day doing an NDE testimony, and the Mandela effect came up because it's coming up. This particular channel loves to talk about it whenever he can. And that person said that, and she's a little new agey, but she said, what's happened is she's given her explanation. And a lot of times, or a lot of the things she said, I don't disagree. All of the things she said have kind of run through my mind. Like, could this be what's happening? Ever since the Mayan calendar ran down in 2012, and we had all this collapsing of events and things rapidly, the apocalypse or the unveiling, and people becoming aware. This person was basically saying the collective consciousness that enough people collectively out there have elevated or raised their consciousness, meaning their awareness, their conscious awareness of themselves, who they are, this reality that they're in. It's moved up the ranks, and some people use higher vibration, all that. I don't know. I'm just reporting on what she was saying, and something I've thought about before, that enough people have hit that state that even though reality could have been changing for eons, the reason we recognize reality unhinged is because we've gotten to that place where enough people now have grown in their awareness of this reality that they can see it. It's possible to see reality for what it is just because the sheer numbers of people waking up to what's really going on. I noticed back in 2008 when I was like, all of a sudden the scales fell off my eyes and I could see the manipulation and control of the banking systems and the 911s and the global convids. I mean, basically, well, back then there wasn't a convid, but it just the way things work, the way things are manipulated, the control system that we live in. I recognize that, and everybody in my world called me crazy, unhinged, lunatic. Friendships ended, hostilities towards me. It was the laughing stock of the family. And yet, now those things that I said are considered rather, you know, old. I mean, it's not even considered a conspiracy now amongst many of the people that were laughing at me back then. They are all of a sudden in agreement. So I can see that there's been around me, in the world around me, an awareness lift. People around me are becoming aware of things that I was aware of in 2008 that very few people seem to be aware of. So in that sense, I can see this progression of awareness and people becoming conscious of the reality in the world that they live in. So I think at this stage, the Mandela effect and reality changing is not the numbers of people like the other things, the 911 events, but awareness generally seems to be increasing in numbers of people around me. And as these numbers grow, we might see more and more people recognizing that reality is unhinged. And where that goes from there, I cannot say. But I, for one, am happy to see the change. And here's a video that I've been saving for, I don't know, 6 months now. I need to look and see when I save this picture, but I've been meaning to do this video on our friend here for so long, and I just haven't, because I should be at the computer. I should have more time. I don't have enough time. But this fella here has been popping up in my world a lot lately in news feeds and whatnot. So I'm just going to do a quick little something about our friend here. I mean, there was a while there was like, man, this guy's like a truther. He's like fighting the system and all that. But let's face it, he is put in place. You do not get to be the richest dude around and not be in the system. And he is in the system all the way. If you look at the agenda of tapping in, like putting the crap in our brain and then putting our brain into the crap and infusing us with technology and transhumanism, that's the agenda. And it's been the agenda. So I wanted to play the clip, and maybe later on, maybe let's just table that I can just play a clip so that you can hear this one person saying that she was some sort of nanny experience with the Elon family, and very dark, like they're like they're totally behind the scenes crazy, and she was like part of that system where she's practically a slave and they can do whatever they want because that's the way her family was. Anyway, Elon, she says, this gal, you can look her up, and there's a longer video of an hour or over an hour where she talks about her experience when she was whatever she was to that family. You can look it up on your own. You're going to have to research that, and I can play a clip maybe later on. Anyway, she says that Elon's name is to his family, and when he was born, he was known as Elyon, or El Elyon. That was his name. And Elon is the shortened version of El Elyon, and El Elyon, it means God Most High. And she was saying that they've always known that he was going to be the, I don't know, future whatever. Like he's not the Antichrist, she says. That's where I was going with that little thumb. El Elyon here, God Most High. He is not the Antichrist that everybody likes to think about, but he will bring the mark. That's what, and she said that's something that she was told back in the 70s, I think. So it's up to you to look that up. The reference to El, Yahweh is described as one of the sons of El, not Yel, in Deuteronomy 32, but this was removed by later, whatever that word is, emendation to the text. And just so you know, I grew up with a speech impediment, and I couldn't even say that word. I had to go through years of speech therapy, and I'm sure my speech therapist teacher would be proud to know that I'm speaking publicly all the time, fighting the inability to pronounce words. I mean, I struggle all the time. It's like everything is a tongue twister to me, and when I get excited or upset, it really comes out, but it doesn't happen. Usually I've got some control over it, but pronouncing words that I'm unfamiliar with, like emendation, I have to stop and slow down, think, okay, how do you say this, and how do I do it without butchering it? And usually when I'm talking fast, I mispronounce all the time. So that's just part of it. I also noticed that when I was like saving videos to talk about El Elyon there and about our friend Elon, shortly later they were gone, like a whole string of them. I'm like, how in the heck are all these gone? I seriously just saved these like the other day and they're all gone. I can't. So I took a screenshot of that. Just say, see, something's going on here. There's something about this guy. I don't know what it is, but the videos that I wanted to review and play ended up getting toasted. And just so you know, this thing on his chest, this was his Halloween costume. It probably cost him $5,000 to get that crazy thing. Yeah, I just imagine this thing sitting on some type of statue in his mansion, just like Batman, and he's got these like crazy looking costumes. That's just my imagination, but that's the Baphomet with the upside down cross, and yeah, it's not what you would wear to a revival meeting. Let's just put it that way. But for Halloween, I suppose that you can express your inner Baphomet whenever that happens. One thing that gives me a little bit of one thing that gives this Shalom girl a little bit of credibility to me is that she's not a big name. She's got a very small subscriber count, just like yours truly. Very few videos, not doesn't get a lot of views. She's like an unknown. And I like the unknowns because I feel like to me, the unknowns are like that restaurant you go to, that hole in the wall that nobody knows about, but it's got really good food. That's, to me, these YouTubers who are kind of unknown, but every once in a while they've got something pretty cool to say. I like that. So I do tend to subscribe more to these really small channels that don't have a lot of recognition out there. So I guess that about wraps up my thing about unhinged reality or reality unhinged. Either one would have been a good title, maybe even a good channel name to if I could rename my channel or make another channel, uh, you know, reality unhinged with this little smiley face. That'd be a great little thumb. Nice little idea. I'll tell you, when I chose my channel, I just kind of grabbed something out of the blue in about 2 minutes of thought, if that even. But anyway, I'm going to wrap it up now and get back to the unhinged reality world and look for more communication and interaction with it, and laugh at it whenever possible, because if you don't laugh, you cry. And there is a lot of things that are great about recognizing this. I think I ever since the reality awareness came to me and I could see things changing and I could call it out for that, and I did my channel to start calling this stuff out, I was hungry for more. I'm hungry for more awareness. I am hungry. I hunger and thirst to know more and to see more of it, and for that awareness to expand and continually growing outward. And I don't necessarily have to have an explanation for everything that occurs, but I do enjoy seeing the change when things do change. And that was another point I wanted to bring up. There is a scene. This is something that I also don't want to fall back into, or I don't want to revert. There's a scene in Pirates of the Caribbean where Jack Sparrow's dad, I think it's his dad, he's getting sucked into the ship. He's like in the lower bowels of the ship, and he's like become part of the ship, and he's like losing his mind and his awareness of who and what he was. He's just becoming part of the ship. So Jack goes down to talk to him and kind of gets him to pull out from the ship a little bit, and he's like got a little bit like dealing with somebody with senility or something like that. He's like trying to bring him back to conscious awareness of who and what he was, and he's trying to get information out of him. So the guy kind of snaps out of the coma that he's in, or the delusion that he's in, and talks to Jack, and then he goes right back into the ship, and kind of you can see he's just getting swallowed by the ship itself, and eventually he would just be completely one with the ship, and you wouldn't even recognize that he was ever there. He'd be like a ghost. That to me is a perfect analogy of people who are hinged to this reality. They are firmly attached to this reality, and they get sucked into this reality to where they cannot see reality for what it is. They cannot see the difference between themselves and the boat that they're on. I don't want to be hinged to that reality. I do not want to be sucked back into the ship. I do not want the brain fog to be able to keep me cloudy about the world that I live in and this crazy reality that we're in. I want to constantly become more and more aware of things that I was never aware of before, and see the impossible happen around me. That makes me smile. I want that. I do not want to be Jack Sparrow's dad on that ship getting sucked into the ship. That is my prayer, my proclamation. Greater awareness for us all, greater consciousness, becoming aware that this reality is unreal, to me is the most fun that I've ever had right now in my life. I am very happy about it, even though the world seems to be going to pot. I'm very happy about this state and understanding that none of this is quite real. It's an illusion, and I'm seeing reality unhinged, or I'm becoming unhinged myself from this reality. And people can call me crazy. I don't care. Part of the reason I stay anonymous here is I don't want them coming after me, but it doesn't matter. I know that I'm not crazy. I know that rather than me being crazy, it is this world around me that is quite crazy, and I am just happy about it. So that was the conversation I had with Shane. Amongst other things, he was like, do you see this as a good thing? Yes, absolutely. Reality, seeing it change around me is fantastic. It doesn't bother me in the least. I want more. I'm hungry for more. Bring it on. Hope y'all can have a great day, and God bless.